Hi, hello, and welcome or welcome back to PJs and Pages. I'm Danielle, and today we're going to be talking about summer reading and basically building my TBR for the summer. So for me, the summer starts in June and ends at the end of August. That is to me like peak summer months. And this summer, I've got some big plans for my reading. We're gonna go through my book club books, what books I have planned for, and books that I'd like to get to, but I may just not have the time. But I'm gonna put them on here anyway because I think that they are like perfect summer reading books. So let's start with the series that I really want to get to, because to me, summer reading is about big, chunky fantasy series. So I remember growing up, I think it was the Harry Potter books would come out every year in the summer, and I would just devour them, like the entire series, because every time one came out, I had to read the first ones that came out before it. So by the time number 7 came out, I had read all of them 6 times. Yes, I know I'm an insane person. So, anywho, this year, the fantasy series I want to take on is Throne of Glass. I mentioned that was my bucket list, or my goal for 2024 was to read the entire series, and I think that this summer I'm going to be able to complete this goal. So we're starting with Queen of Shadows because that's where I left off last, and I plan on tandem reading Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, and then hopefully in August getting to Kingdom of Ash. So lofty goals, but I think we can do it. I think I can do it. It's gonna be fun, especially if it picks up the way I've heard it picks up in these last 4 books. So that is my personal goal that I'm trying to get through. Next up, we've got my library book club, and they actually like schedule out what the books are going to be for the season. So this season, May was science fiction, June is a mystery, and I've already chosen to read The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. I loved The Thursday Murder Club, and this is the 2nd book in the series. It's been sitting on my shelf for God knows how long, and it is time to get it off, and I honestly cannot wait to spend time with my favorite septuagenarians. So The Man Who Died Twice is going to be on that list. And then July is an indie author, and I've got to go get the first book for my mom. This is the 2nd book, but my friend wrote a book, and she published it herself, and I am so proud of her. Her author name is Cassidy Faline, and the first book is called... I can't remember what the first book is called. I will insert a picture of it here. But it is a fantasy series, another like chunkier fantasy series. So the summer of fantasy, guys, the summer of fantasy. And that is what I'm planning on reading for the indie author prompt. And then in August, it's an international author, and while I do have some on my shelves, I want to see what the library has to offer and maybe pick up a library book for the pick. So I'm holding off on choosing my August pick yet, but these are the 2 that I got for my library book club already picked out. Next up, I have a group of friends that we buddy read with over on Instagram, and the June pick is Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Gañas. I have not read her other book, but I've heard wonderful things about Isabel Gañas. I'm really excited to read her books. I think this one's going to be really good. This one is Vampires and Vaqueros face off on the Texas-Mexico border in this supernatural western from the author of La Hacienda. So that sounds really cool. Very excited to read that one, and we choose those books monthly, so I don't know yet what books they're going to choose for July and August, but I will add those to my, we consider them added to my TBR for the summer. Then same thing with my Find You book club. That is the book club that I have with my sorority sisters from college, and in June we are reading Expiration Dates by Rebecca Searle. So this one is about a girl named Daphne who believes that the universe has a plan for her. Every time she meets a new man, she receives a slip of paper with his name and a number on it, the exact amount of time they will be together. And then one day she goes on a blind date and she meets Jake, but there is no number on the slip of paper. So she assumes that he must be her end game. And yeah, it's about that. So it's really short. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to make a really nice summer read, honestly. And once again, we haven't picked out the books for July or August yet, but when we do, I will consider them added to my summer TBR. And finally, the books that I have that I just feel like are perfect for the summer and I'd really like to get to them if I can, maybe reading in between some of these book club picks, and Sarah J. Maas, because wow, that's a lot. So these are not fantasy. In fact, they are 3 different genres. So the first one I have is a romance, and that is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I like to try to read a Emily Henry book every summer. So I used to just reread Beach Read, but then I finally was like, maybe I should pick up one of her other books. So I picked up People We Meet on Vacation. I really, really enjoyed it. I didn't love it as much as Beach Read, but I've heard that Book Lovers is better. So this one follows Nora Stevens, and she works in publishing. She's a literary agent, and she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls, North Carolina for the month of August. Ooh, maybe I read this in August. Anyway, when Libby begs her for a sister's trip away, so she's going on a trip with her sister, and she wants to be a main character in her own book. She feels like she's been like a side character this whole time, and she wants to really generate this main character energy. Charlie is a bookish budding editor from back in the city, and they have met before, but not in a good way, I guess. And she keeps bumping into him on this vacation. Nora knows she's not an ideal heroine. Charlie knows he's nobody's hero, but as they are thrown together again and again in a series of coincidences no editor worth their salt would allow, what they discover might just unravel the carefully crafted stories they've written about themselves. So it sounds really cute. I like a good, like, rivals to lovers. The banter's always really fun. Emily Henry does banter really well too. She's just the queen of it. And I really like how she weaves a little bit of contemporary fiction in with the romance. So I'm really looking forward to Book Lovers by Emily Henry. The next one is a literary fiction, and that is The Idiot by Elif Batman. This one follows Selin, who is the daughter of Turkish immigrants and a student at Harvard. So her freshman year, she signs up for all these classes and she makes all these friends, and she even like starts corresponding and having, I guess, maybe a little romance with an older mathematics student. And this is back in 1995 when email is still new. So the school year ends and all of her different people go off to different places, and she goes back home, if I'm not mistaken. And she has to just wrestle with the fact that her college experience is very different than the college experience of that of her friends. And her summer does not resonate with anything she has previously heard about the typical experiences of college students, but rather is the beginning of a journey further inside herself, a coming to grips with the ineffable and exhilarating confusion of first love, and with the growing consciousness that she is doomed to become a writer. So dramatizes the uncertainty of life on the cusp of adulthood. It's a heroic yet self-effacing reckoning with the terror and joy of becoming a person in a world that is as intoxicating as it is disquieting. So this is all about someone's summer vacation. Summer book. I mean, it just makes sense to me. And I've been really wanting to pick it up. So I'm putting it in my summer reading list, although there is a good chance that I will not get to these, unfortunately. We'll see. I'm gonna really try. And then the last one is only a summer book because I looked at the cover and I was like, that looks like summer. But then I read the back and I was like, it's not really summer, but look at it. This is totally a summer cover. My Year with Eleanor by Noelle Hancock. This is actually a memoir, and I don't read a lot of memoirs. I don't read a lot of nonfiction, but this one is about an entertainment blogger who lost her job, and she's about to turn 29, and she feels like she has forgotten how to live her life. She's unemployed and full of self-doubt, and she had no idea what she wanted out of life. She feared change. In fact, she feared almost everything. So once she was confident and ambitious, she has become crippled by anxiety, lacking the courage required even to attend a dinner party, until inspiration struck one day in the form of a quote on a chalkboard in a coffee shop. "Do one thing every day that scares you," by Eleanor Roosevelt. So Eleanor Roosevelt dedicated herself to facing her fears, a commitment that shaped the rest of her life. With Eleanor as her guide, Noelle spends the months leading up to her 30th birthday pursuing a year of fear, from shark diving to fighter pilot lessons, from tap dancing and stand-up comedy to confronting old boyfriends. Her hilarious and harrowing adventures teach her about who she is and what she can become, lessons she makes vital for all of us. So it's about finding yourself. And I remember I picked this up specifically because I was in my getting close to my 30s, and feeling a little lost in myself. I feel like I have found myself in motherhood, but I definitely still resonate with this a little bit, because even though I found myself in motherhood, I still am looking for myself a little bit. So I think this is going to be a really good read, a really impactful read, and like I said, the book cover looks like a summer book. So these are the 3 books that I have on my list to read in case I have time. But yeah, this is my summer TBR. And if you have any suggestions for great summer reading books, please list them in the comments down below. If you've gotten this far and you'd like to just leave a comment to show support, go ahead and leave a vampire for Vampires of El Norte in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.